Welcome back to Everyone Has a Story, True Tales from Everyday Life. I'm so glad you're here. Today is the first in a 7-part series, 7 gifts, lessons if you will, to remember each day upon waking. In this season of giving, please accept this message of light and optimism. Happy holidays to you, from us. Be generous with your love and hugs, and always walk in balance. Let's begin with the first gift, that of hope. Each night when we go to sleep, Creator places the stone of sleep on our eyes. When the sun rises the next morning, Creator lifts the stone from our eyes that we might live another day. This is an old Panji Sipe belief that my Made has always taught me. When we open our eyes the next day, we are given 7 gifts to take into our day. These are guideposts that show us the path forward, to fulfillment for that day, to peace of mind, and calm for the soul. Hope. It is the root of all the other gifts. For as long as you have hope, all other things are possible. This is Josefa's story. Josefa Kunat boarded the SS Weimar in Bremen, Germany in April of 1891, alone. She was born for Ohio in the United States, which is documented on the ship's passenger list, where she is said to be 18 years old. Her calling, interesting word, is listed as servant, and she is assigned to Compartment B in Steerage, the compartment in which all unaccompanied single women were given space for the journey to America. She was born in the ancient town of Písek, South Bohemia, on May 30th, 1875. I have found no record of how she got from her town of Písek, South Bohemia, to Bremen, Germany, almost 500 miles away. In the 1890s, travelers were known to make the journey by train or by coach, but some poorer souls actually got there on foot. Nevertheless, however she got there, she was at the port that spring day. Upon arriving in Bremen, Germany, she would have needed to make her way to Bremerhaven, the port where all international-bound ships were docked, about 40 miles north of Bremen itself. By the time Josefa made that trip, steam-powered tugs pulled barges along the river Weser, and the trip took only 1 day instead of 3. Due to steam power, they no longer had to wait for ebb tide to make the final stretch to the docks. In the 1890s, passage in Steerage class from Bremen to Baltimore would have cost around $30, about 3 weeks of American semi-skilled labor wages at that time. Josefa's ship for that voyage was the SS Weimar, newly launched that year by Norddeutscher Lloyd. She was a double-masted, single-screw steamer, approximately 400 feet long and 50 feet wide. Tonnage capacity was nearly 5,000 gross tons, and she could achieve 13 knots of nautical speed, about 15 miles an hour. It was not a fast journey by today's standards, but was certainly more civilized than what would have been the circumstances earlier in the 19th century. On that day, in April, Master H. Heinecke and crew welcomed aboard over 2,400 passengers, 1,600 of whom were adults, took on over 1,800 pieces of baggage, including Josefa's singular piece. He then set course for the North Sea, heading towards the English Channel, and finally out into open seas. The SS Weimar had 3 steerage areas between decks, one for families, one for single men, and one for single women. Baggage was typically stored in an aisle between bunks, which lined the outsides of the ship walls. Often, people had to share bunk space with other passengers, taking turns sleeping on wooden plank platforms that served as makeshift beds. It was dark, no portholes, and the smell would have been challenging to say the least. Seasickness was common, women crying in fear or bereft at leaving their homes and families, crowded conditions with no opportunity for proper bathing or hygiene. Josefa was assigned to Steerage B, the section for single women. There is no indication from the passenger list that she was traveling with anyone. There were Germans, Bohemians, Hungarians, Austrians, Russians, all headed to places in the Midwest. And a surprising number had Ohio listed as their final destination, as did Josefa. During her journey, only 2 babies lost their lives, and one was born in international waters, a baby girl named Mariana Brzezinski, just 10 days before the ship made dock in Baltimore. Josefa arrived in Baltimore on April 22, 1891, exactly 50 years and 2 days before her granddaughter Noreen's birth. Josefa was my maternal grandfather's mother, my great-grandmother. All during the 1800s and early 1900s, immigrants were leaving their birthplaces to come to America with nothing more than they could carry. Brave people, desperate people. They were dreaming of a better life. But the biggest thing they all had in common was hope. Hope that their leap of faith would realize into a new life of safety, prosperity, and robust health. No more constant fear of death. No more endless back-breaking work with nothing to call their own, and no more empty bellies as they lay down their heads at night. In America, they would lay down their heads on a pillow of hope, with an earnest prayer for honest opportunities they would grasp with outstretched hands, ready to grab hold and never let go. Hope is the root of every thought, choice, action. Every decision we make begins with the idea to have or be something or someone better than we currently are. Without hope, most of us would lose our lust for life, our reason for being. Tonight, as you set your alarm for tomorrow morning, remember, hope springs eternal. As the stone of sleep is lifted from your eyes for another day, accept the gift of hope. Recall Josefa's journey and seize the day with determination. As long as you have hope, anything is possible. Do you have a story of hope? Please share with us in the comment section below. It would be an extraordinary gift to the community here on our channel. And consider subscribing with notification bell on if you enjoy content like this. And a thumbs up sure would be appreciated as well. Thanks for visiting with us. Hope to see you next time on Everyone Has a Story, true tales from everyday life.